Well, some of you guys might remember the electrical problem I was working on about 2 weeks ago with my headlights. Within that same time period, both my keys stopped working, my key remotes, everything else was working fine. So we all know what that is, all activity module, which is underneath the fuse box. I've got the fuse box cover removed, and I am going to pop that out and remove the old all activity module. I got a replacement from the wrecking yard for this car. My car is a 2001, and check the Mercedes website, Mercedes parts website, and the only cars that are compatible are a 320, not a 430, from 2000, 2001, 2002. Got an entire fuse box. Had to remove this myself from the wrecking yard with the AAM, which is what this part is here. The all activity module attached. Got the whole thing with the relays and everything for 60 bucks. And hopefully it works. I unplugged everything from the bottom, so this fuse box is still good in case it's ever needed. The only thing I cut was the power wires. Everything else was unplugged and pulled out as one unit. I think I'll have enough relays for a long time, just in case I need any extras. Fuses too. So the all activity module, hold on a second, let me put this camera down so you can see. To pull these out is not as easy as it would seem. Down here, from the bottom of the fuse box, there's this finger that sticks out, and there's a little prong that grabs on to that little square hook there and holds it in place, holds it back. And then on the front, right there where the little red dot is, there's kind of a little lip. And you can see, see these little tabs here? These slide out toward me. So kind of once you get this unclipped, you slide it toward you, but you also have to wedge something in there to pry that little lip out so it pops over. A flathead screwdriver or a plastic wedge tool will work. So hold on a second, I'm just gonna grab something real quick. So a plastic trim removal tool I'm gonna shove in to there. It really does not push back very easily. It's kind of a pain. Best to do this warm. It's -10 today. Best to do this with a warm piece of plastic. This one is not. I do not have that luxury today. So I'm gonna wedge this in. Make sure this little finger is off, pulled down. And it's like, you kind of need 7 hands to do it at once. So anyway, I'm going to do this. It's going to be impossible for me to keep this on camera while doing it. But essentially, let's move this a little further away so you can see it. You're going to be pulling it this way toward you. You see the 2 little locator tabs there. This has got to be pried down so it can move past that little lip there, and also hold that little finger on the back from being locked into this rod that holds it down. So I'm going to do that all at once and get this thing popped out and show you when I'm back in a second. Okay, so we're all ready to pop that out. Make sure it's not hooked on the back still. And we're going to slide it forward and out gently. Because you see all these pins here that plug in to the AAM module. These 4 numbers here, as long as the part number, the 1636545, as long as those numbers are the same, and this came from a 320, if your car was a 320, these 4 numbers don't really matter. I've checked and checked and checked and checked with specialists. These 4 numbers don't really matter. It will be able to be programmed. I'll find out in about 10 minutes when I plug this thing in. Supposedly this will make all my lights work again, my daytime running lights, all the other stuff. The only thing that I'm going to have to do is take it to someone with a star scanner who can reprogram in my remote keys. I'm not worried about that right now too much. It's a pain in the butt using a key to open a door. My God, it's like 1980s. But at least my daytime running lights and my lights aren't gonna be flickering. So anyway, I'm gonna put this aside and then I'm gonna pull the old one out. I'll just show you in 1 second. Once all these T25 Torx bit, I think they're 25. T20. Once all these T20 screws are out, you can leave the battery hooked up. I'm not gonna unhook the battery. If you're really sketchy about it, unhook your negative battery cable. But as long as you don't have the key in the ignition, that's one of the big things. Don't have your key in the ignition, whatever you do when you're working on something electronic in a Mercedes. No key in the ignition. So keys out of the ignition, and I'm just gonna lift this up, disconnect the old all activity module and plug the new one in. And once these bolts are out of the fuse box cover, this should just lift up. Not should, will. Excuse my sniffling, because again, it's freezing cold out here. And as long as you're careful not to ground anything, especially these power wires over here. Let me grab the camera. Okay, so you can see, hopefully that will stay there. You've got some wire connectors. You've got the white one. You've got this one for the antenna, for the remote control, that kind of just wiggles and pulls out. And you've got two large ones, sorry. Squeeze the finger, pull. This one behind that. Hopefully I'm not in your way. Squeeze and pull, and then there should be one final black one in the back, which there is. See back there? Squeeze and pull. I just have to remove this. Oh, look at that. See the broken finger on the AAM. The one I just showed you a few minutes ago. On the new one. I can't get this camera to balance. Stand by. Stay. Damn it. Right there, the post, you can see it's broken off. It's not supporting there. Lovely. You just grab the wedge tool. I'll put this camera back so you can actually see. It's a little too close up there. Hopefully you can see from there. Whoa. Well, that came. Jesus, did that crack? Or was that cracked? Look at this. Oh my God, hopefully that wasn't cracked before. Maybe that is the cause of the whole problem. I don't see any pieces down there. Oh, here's a chunk. This just broke. It must just be, well, cold and plastic. They don't go well together. So here's a little chunk. Oops. That came off of, where are we now? This side. Great. So if that wasn't broken, then I broke it. I have no idea. So anyway, I'm going to plug this one in. Just plug in all the wiring and bolt up the fuse box and let's take a look and see what happens. I won't bore you with plugging this back in. It's pretty simple. Back in one second. Okay, so the new one's plopped back in. I haven't secured everything, the fuse panel, fuse box and everything back in. I'm just gonna start and see what happens with the lights. Let's see. So I should have no lights on right now. Okay, for some reason my running lights are on. They shouldn't be. Shut up, stereo. Well, my headlights are on, but they are not flickering, which is better than flickering. They still shouldn't be on. Huh. Could be a different version of the daytime running light module that comes on automatically with the car. That doesn't make sense. This relay is no longer buzzing. Okay, well, I'm going to go through all the other stuff and make sure everything's working and let you know. But that's an AAM replacement, which is, again, very simple. The only thing that supposedly I have to, according to everybody I talk to, the only thing I have to redo is reprogram to match the keys. You know what? Let's find out. Let's just see if we can reprogram it, just for the hell of it. Which is car off, press lock, press and hold lock, unlock 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And nothing, it hasn't recognized it. Let's try it one more time. Press and hold lock, unlock 5 times. No, hasn't recognized. Drive authorization is different on the models 2000 and later. It's not attached to the all activity module like it is on the earlier ones. The 98 and 99 had a drive authorization module. It's a little square thingy. It's now under the dash on after 2000, but it was hooked up into the all activity module in the earlier models so that your key couldn't even start the car unless you had reprogrammed it to accept it, to recognize the key. This driver authorization for the key, to recognize the key in the ignition, that it's, you know, still good and allowed to start the car and run, is underneath the dash. So that's a completely separate component. The only component that apparently is necessary now is the one for the remote locking and unlocking. So anyway, that's an AAM replacement, and thanks for watching. It apparently everything's working. I will check everything and be right back with you.